TheTwinDiaries. It's Sana. We're going to talk about today how to get an A in A&P, which some people think it's like super impossible, but I promise you it is possible. We can do this. Okay? So the first thing I would say is to get organized with a planner and a binder. So I would have like one binder that you specifically use for that class, and then get the biggest one you could find, and then also get a big planner. And when I mean big, I mean like this size to where it's like notebook size, so you can write as much as you can, like literally plan out your day. Because it has like a section like this where you can literally, like, it's like Monday, Tuesday, blah blah blah, and then it looks like this. Look at how busy my life is. But then also just like this, where you can literally look at the entire month and know what's in store. So you know, like, if I work on this day, that means I have to study on this day. And that's literally what I would do. I would put when I worked, when I traveled, all that, when my test is, when classes, when a quiz is, all that, just so like I know what is just to be expected. Because you plan out your life and you know when you need to study, you know when you can't go somewhere, you know, like, you just know everything. So you don't like, oh, I'm like the kind of person that will overbook myself. So if I say like I have to work this day, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I can come here to study, or I can study on this day, and it's like, if I work a 12-hour shift, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to study. So yeah, I would say suggest getting a planner and being organized that way, but then also your binder for class. So this is the binder that I was using when I was in A&P 2. And like the first page is just this, like, which I got from Target. I don't know if you guys can see it. And then the first thing that I will put is my syllabus and my schedule. So you know how like they'll give you the schedule and they'll give you the syllabus for that, and then whatever is in that schedule, I would put immediately the first day, put that in my planner. Here's the schedule right here, and I'll highlight the lab practical days, activity days, and exam days. And they'll be in like different colors, so I would like know. And it's like 2 pages, so whatever, maybe it's 1. But and then I would go according to chapter, or no, actually I'll go according to lecture. So it'll be like lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, lecture 4. All of that is in one section. I'll have it like divided. So yeah. Definitely get yourself a binder big enough to put all the stuff that you're going to need to, like the study material you make, print out your, like everything that you would print out, like everything be in that one section. So when it comes down to the final, you can see everything in like one section, like you know where to go for each one. So next, just understand that you're going to have to take the time to study. I feel like some people don't think that you really have to study as much as you do, but you do. Like, you need to prioritize that class, because honestly, your science classes that you have to take for nursing school are the most important classes. Yes, English is, you know, like you need English, you need whatever, but the science classes are what they look at the most, and that's what you would usually get points for your application, is what grade you got in those classes. So you want to get an A. So just know that you're going to have to prioritize that class. So if you know that you're going to struggle with going to class, but then also taking the time out to study, then try to plan like how many hours am I going to work, or what days I'm going to work. So for me, I went to class Tuesday, Thursday, so that meant I could work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe you can just work on the weekend. Sometimes I work one day on the weekend, one day during the week, or 2 days during the week. It's just up to you. Whatever works best for you, do that. Figure out where your teacher pulls their materials from. Did y'all hear that thunder? It's like about to storm again. Figure out where your teacher pulls their material from. So some teachers will pull it from lecture, whatever they say in lecture, and some of them won't even give you like PowerPoints. Like my recent professor, there was no such thing as like printing out PowerPoints and, you know, being able to study PowerPoints. It was nothing like that. It was what she said in lecture, and then she would have like kind of like an outline notes of what we would talk about in class for each lecture. And so I would print those out before I came to class, so as she's talking, I would add things to it, and I'll write that out. And then whatever I got from those lectures for that exam, I would, which is my next point, I would make a Quizlet. And so Quizlet was my best friend. At the time when my sister was taking A&P, they didn't have like that learn option that's on Quizlet right now, and some of y'all might know what I'm talking about because I like always talk about it on like Instagram or Snap or whatever. But the learn option was my best friend. So I would make, and I actually ended up sharing this with like all my class, like I shared it with everybody, and everybody actually ended up using it and said their grades got better when they did use it. So for every single lecture, I would make a Quizlet for that, but I would separate the Quizlets by chapter, so that way when I do the learn option, whichever one I struggle with the most, right before the test I would go back and I would redo it, and I would redo it so I got a 100% again. So just check out the learn option on Quizlet and try using that, because it might take time to make the Quizlet, but when you're making the Quizlet, you're still learning that information. And then then you'll also be studying it afterwards, and you're learning the information. So you'll end up getting like an amazing grade, and you're like, was that easy? Like the time it took to actually make it was worth it, because you're learning the information and you don't even realize you're learning it. Take pictures in lab if you can, and also make study sheets. So what I mean by that is, I'll show you my binder again. So I would get pictures and I would copy either from my lab book, you can see it, I would copy, like let's say in lab, I would copy it and I would white out the words or scratch it out, and then I would put it in these little sleeves, and I would use an expo marker, and I would literally quiz myself that way, be able to look at it, and I need to write it. So that way, because you know how like they check you for spelling and all that stuff, like I need to be able to jot it down immediately, spell it correctly, and know exactly what it is. That's how I studied. Also, I have it in here, pictures and stuff like that. So I would make, like when I was learning the blood types and everything and grouping it and learning the heart, I would draw my own pictures and like use arrows to show like it's going through this atrium and going into this ventricle and going through this valve and all that kind of stuff. So I made this myself to make it easier, and then I put like the blood flow through and everything. And I'll like probably do a clip just to show you what exactly my notes look like, because you probably won't be able to see it as good from here. But I don't know, I just made my own sheets, just writing in extra things that I felt like I needed to really comprehend. I would take the time out to write it or draw it, because that helps you understand it better. I hate writing everything, so that's what Quizlet comes in handy. But the things that like you really need to know in detail, like the heart or the blood flows and all that kind of stuff, I would take the time out to write it. So that'll help you understand it better. When you're drawing the picture, you don't even understand. Like you would think, oh, I'm just drawing it, it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know what it is, but like your brain just understands it that much more when you take the time out to draw it. Ask questions and make friends with the people that you're in class or in lab with. So whoever you sit beside, just take the time to like kind of talk to them and get their number, because you never know, you might need them later on in the semester. I'm actually not that talkative when I'm in class. I'd rather just go to class and then leave. So I don't really like to I don't know, like stay and talk and chat and all that kind of stuff. Like when the professor used to tell me like, okay, you can go or you can stay, I was out. Unless I really didn't understand something, then I would stay and make sure I understood it before I left, because I knew the next day I'm going to work, so there's no way I'm be able to come in and all that extra stuff or go to office hours. I didn't have time for that. But make friends, and they might have something that's helpful that you didn't know about, or say like, hey, what are you using to study, or do you have a picture of this lab or the cat or something like that. Like you never know, like they usually come in handy, or they might understand something that you don't understand. So making friends really truly helps. And even if you're not that talkative or don't want to be talkative, you're tired, you just want to go to class and leave, I like that too. But I'm telling you, like, just making that one friend really comes in handy, because it came in handy for me. Even not even knowing if you have class that day or you don't. Yeah. So, make friends. And I want to say that's really it. Just get organized, get your planner, your binder organization. Prioritize studying, understand you're going to have to take the time to study. Figure out where your teacher gets your materials from, and from that make a Quizlet. And the harder information that you really know that you need to grasp, draw a picture or write it out. I promise you, you'll understand it more. Take pictures in lab if you can. I know you're really not supposed to, like we're at my school, but the girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. I need that A. Make your own study sheets. Get those sleeves. They're so cheap at Walmart, and they'll give you like a bunch. And make friends with at least one person. I just make friends with one person. It'll come in handy. If that person ends up dropping, I'm sorry about you. Make another one. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm Sana. Sorry if I was talking too fast. Sometimes I do that. But thanks for watching the Twin Diaries, and tune in to another video soon. Like, comment, subscribe, and thrive. Bye, guys.